Welcome to Sisters Unfiltered. We are so excited to be here today. We would love it if you like, comment, subscribe, share any of our episodes or our podcasts. That would be awesome. You know, the last few weeks, we kind of had some heavier topics. Really great, really awesome. Great feedback from the topics about mom.
From the community.
From the
Sisters Unfiltered community.
10 people in our community.
We have had some great responses.
Yes, some great responses, really sweet people that we haven't heard from in a little bit. Just reaching out.
I will say this. Our numbers are a tiny bit lower than what they've been, and I think people get scared to listen to it because they think it's going to be like really, really heavy.
Yeah.
And it probably is heavier for other people than even for us just because we lived it.
Yeah.
But just so y'all know, if you haven't listened to it, we still keep our sarcasm through the whole thing. We tell funny stories.
Yes.
We really talk about our family. A lot of, to me, encouraging things that could even help you just in life with even raising kids, how you want to raise them now, so that if there is ever an experience like that, and let's hope there's not, you feel like your kids would step up to the plate. So I just want to encourage people.
Yeah. I guess I say heavy. It's not even, it's more serious maybe, like not as heavy, but we do laugh, and you're going to probably run the gamut in those episodes from laughing to crying to...
You are.
And maybe not cry. I didn't cry. But I've had a lot of people say they did. But it is just very moving. Lindsey does. She wanted to edit it out. I said you're not allowed.
I did want to edit it out, and I was told I could not.
Today we're going a little lighter.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about something that we've thought about talking about for a while. But first of all, I just have to say this. So Lindsey and I were just talking about our episodes about our mom, and she forgot to tell this story that I feel like she needs to tell. Because we might have been talking about how, like, our makeup's not really looking great right now, and she wants to change her hair and all this stuff. And so she says she has this shadow on her face.
I do. Guys.
Whatever. Okay.
You can kind of see it right
Okay,
here.
so tell how you got this
That's not
shadow.
that's not a unibrow.
Okay, tell us how you got this shadow.
Okay.
Because it relates to my mom's when she was sick.
First of all, I don't feel super great about myself right now.
This is not confession time.
I feel like I need to lose weight, change my hairstyle, change my makeup. But anyways, moving on. I'm assuming that if you're a woman, you've had all these experiences. Okay, so I was telling her, because I was pressing record and I'm more up close to the screen, and you could see the shadow right here. And I was like, oh my gosh, by the way, this is never going away. It's the scar from this terrible thing that happened to me. When my mom, I don't know if she'd already passed away, if it was when she was sick. I think she was sick, because I've kind of
definitely around that time.
I kind of remember telling her about it.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know. So our garage door was, for whatever reason, like when it would shut. Okay, so Derek's car has a thing where it automatically goes, like the garage door will open or close when our car gets close or leaves without us having to do anything. And so for whatever reason, our garage door wasn't closing all the way. And so it closed, and those of you who are listening, you can't see me, but it closed right to like above my eyes, above my nose kind of. And so I do not remember what happened. I clearly was not thinking straight, but I needed something out of my car, and I guess it was in the driveway. And I just took off running and ran smack into the garage door.
Did you fall?
I might have fallen because I saw stars. Oh. So that is what happened the first time.
Do you get mad when you get hurt like that, or did you cry?
I can't remember. I think I was bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had blood dripping on my face. I cannot remember. But what I do remember is this did not happen just once. It happened twice. Guys, what is going on?
Well, I mean, that is like a lot going on at that time of your life. Like, you really aren't, it's hard to concentrate on anything.
So the first time around, I think this happened like twice, like immediately. Like, I ran out, it was like, kushoo. It was like, kushoo. Whatever it was, the second time, I literally fell on the ground because I just was so upset. Yeah. And I started crying. And then I had a bloody, like, scab right there, and it was, like, bruised. And then now I have a shadow, which doesn't...
Like, when I'm looking at you, I can't really see it. But when you looked in, like, the
camera,
I could see it.
Yeah, it's there. I look in the mirror every day.
Yeah.
And the worst part
is...
it's
just, like, a permanent bruise?
The worst part is, like... If I felt better about myself, I could own it. But since I'm like, what is going on with my face?
I think you're the only one who notices it, though.
Anyway,
I see you all the time and I never think
just if you think that, life was perfect, just know that I ran into a garage door that was in front of my eyes. Twice.
Yeah.
Took off running, guys. Just imagine it. Take off running because your eyes are focused on whatever it is
you need
outside.
like a Nest camera.
And like,
oh
oh
my gosh.
my gosh, that would have been
That
awful.
would have made it viral.
We do have a camera out there now, but I don't think it like sees
Yeah.
right. Oh, anyways, just so you know.
We were laughing about that before this
Actually, we were laughing
started,
really
and I
hard.
was like, we got to share that story. But today, on a lighter note, we're going to talk about hospitality.
Yeah, hostess with the mostest, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. And you might be like, that's kind of a weird topic, but
don't turn us off.
Yeah. Yes.
Stay with us.
Yes.
We want to talk about hosting people. How do you host people?
How did this come about? Like, we were talking about it, and we thought this would be a good episode because of why.
I don't remember why it came about.
I know.
Okay,
I'm asking you, but I
don't
thought you might know.
That was
and
like
then
a
sometimes,
trick question.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll ask a question, and I think we're going to answer the same, but you answer different, and then I'm like, oh, well, for me, I think this.
You should have told me before you asked.
Well, I sent you the questions.
I know.
Okay.
You did. I read it.
Yeah. Okay, so I remember how this came up. So first of all, we've talked about this in our giving episode, but Lindsey and Derek are really good at hosting. So they open up their home a lot and have people here all the time. But again, like we've said over and over and over again, people look at that and they're like, oh, you just started hosting when you got in your house that is nice or whatever. And that's not true.
Yeah.
We've always hosted, and even in apartments and small spaces and rentals and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so Lindsey's like, I want people to feel the freedom to host, because I think a lot of people are like, I don't have a good space for that, or I don't have enough room, or nobody wants to come to my house or whatever. Yeah. And so we were just saying, like, I think that honestly, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
And for sure. And I think that like there's a lot that goes with hosting, and I think you can make it what you want to make it. And I think that for whatever reason we get in our heads that like it has to be a certain way, and our house has to look a certain way, and the food has to be a certain way. But really it doesn't. And I have had, we had a friend who asked me one time about hosting, because she was like, I really want to start hosting like you guys host all the time, like what does that look like and everything. And so I was just thinking that like, let's talk about hosting. It's fun. We do it for big families. So I've had people say like, how do you cook for 22 people? Now 23. And it's like, anyways, and so that is not going to apply to a bunch of you, I'm sure. Sure, you're not cooking for 23 people every time you host, but maybe at some point. Yeah. Or hosting is just So let's dive in. I'm excited.
So I was thinking about this because I knew this subject was coming. And so again, we can't help but talk about how we were raised and that kind of thing. My mom was always hosting as well, as long as I can remember. And I would say like if you have levels of hosting, she's like at 100. As far as how good she is at it, how excellent everything was. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm not that good.
No.
But I did grow up around, and we also grew up in the Deep South.
So everybody hosts. It's actually not just selective to mom.
Yes.
They all host there, and I love that. And I actually wish that more people in Austin were that way. And maybe we're just not in the right group of people. Yeah. But and it's not to say our friends don't host, but it's like, it's everything.
Yeah, it's hard to compare if you haven't lived there before. Like we're from Birmingham. Yeah. So everyone hosts and they host beautifully, but I also think that holds people back from thinking that they can host, because they're like, oh, I can't host like that.
Yes.
But my mom was a very good host. Our home was always open. She did an amazing job. She taught us a lot about hosting. But first of all, like, what have you thought about host? I mean, like, when did you? Don't you feel like it's just always been our life? Like, I never thought any different. That like, I just always thought like, you have people in your home.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up with it, and then also Ashley's 5 years older than me, so I watched y'all host a ton.
Yes, we did.
And so like, not just since we lived in Austin, when you guys lived in West Palm Beach, you hosted a lot, and so I think seeing that for me was just like, that's what you do. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I don't know. And then I am married to somebody who loves to host more than I do.
Yes.
Actually. So like that, Derek is like, he will make any event at our house like amazing.
It does.
So that does make a massive difference.
Yes, it does. It does. So there's lots of levels, right, on doing it. But I think that if there's anyone listening or anyone that thinks like I could never host, I just don't think that's true.
No.
Because truly, I don't know if I would have the friends that I've had over the years, especially when I moved to places that I didn't have family near me, if we wouldn't have opened up our home and hosted things like dinners and parties and all kind of just hangouts, you know what I mean? And I kind of love to see like my kids are starting to do that. I love when Sam and Eden tell me that they've hosted their friends at their house, or they've made homemade ice cream and invited all their friends over, and they have a 1-bedroom apartment. And I just think like, you know what? That's so awesome. Yeah. I'm so glad.
So we both have hosted in every home that we've ever lived in.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone.
Apartments.
Yeah.
I will never forget the first couple we had over.
Yeah.
Still friends with them on social media. They are from Church of Highlands, our church, and our young married couples class. We lived in a downstairs apartment that was like a dungeon. There was like no windows, and we were so excited.
Yes.
And we had like all of our furniture was secondhand.
Yes.
Everything, and we did not even care.
I just was thinking the exact same thing that Jeremy and I, when we first got married, were the first of our friends to get married. We lived in such a dump, okay? $175 a month. Awful.
If that tells you.
And we sure did have people over for dinner. I mean, I did not care.
And you should care.
I was excited.
I was
so
too.
excited.
And
I mean,
these
Martha
people-
Ann lived right next door, and she was a chain smoker. I mean, you could like smell the smoke and see the yellow walls through the thing. I mean, y'all, I had no business having anybody over.
But y'all, and this couple that we had over, they were like older than us.
Yeah.
It probably made 3 times as much money than Derek made. And you didn't care. You did not stop us. No, it didn't. And actually, it was the beginning of a wonderful friendship with them.
Yeah.
They had a house that was so pretty,
Yeah.
and they actually hosted our going away party with all of our young couple friends. And like, guys, no one cares where you live.
Well, so that's what I was going to say. On the flip side of that, when I have been invited over, I have never, not once, no matter the situation, thought anything about it. I thought, oh my gosh, how nice is it for someone to invite me over to hang out? Because you do it for the relationships. And I not once remember walking in the house and being like, oh, I mean, they did not know how to host or whatever. Like, I just don't think that way. So we have to remind ourselves that other people are not necessarily thinking that way.
But I think that those of us that compare think that way. Like, I can't host because of ABC. Or
so let's break down the misconceptions of hosting.
Okay.
So you need a big house.
That's absolutely not true, obviously.
Right. Right.
Obviously, it's not true. I don't care how old you are, you do not.
You do not.
Nope.
You're right.
Not
I mean,
at all.
our house in one of our first houses here in Austin. I'm just trying to think. It was smaller, and we had 4 kids. Ella wasn't home yet. We hosted. We had people there all
the time.
Yes. And it was not that big at all.
No.
But
you hosted every holiday event and everything because none of us had a big enough apartment for that.
And I just like you make it work. You know, we also did not have a lot of money. Another big misconception,
I agree,
is a lot of money. So here's the deal. We'll talk about some things that help, like that we think are great with hosting that might cost money, but there's so many different ways to host and not spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, I also look at it like hosting, like giving in a way that I'm like, no, I want to make this meal for this family that's coming over, this couple or whatever, or hosting a baby shower. Like that is part of my like giving. It is. You know, and that's how I kind of look at it too.
Yeah, that's how we look at it too. But if you don't have that to give, say, hey, who wants to come over? Everybody bring your own pizza. Yes. Or hey, let's not do dinner, but let's do coffee and dessert.
Yes. I think dessert's a great one.
Yeah,
because
dessert.
You can dessert is inexpensive, and you can have
you get $5 cookies and literally break and bake cookies.
Yes.
And no one cares.
No one cares.
If someone gives me a cookie, I don't care if someone bought it from H-E-B. I don't care what it is. I'm like, thank you so much. I love this. I didn't have to buy it myself.
Yeah, right.
I mean, seriously, like and have a game night, literally, or sit on your front porch and talk. We've had people over just to sit outside, and we didn't even have meals.
Absolutely.
Like, we've been like, listen, we ain't feeling it tonight.
Yeah.
We all want to come over later and let the
hang
kids hang out, and
Yes.
we'll just hang out. That's what you can do.
Yes.
Or you don't work babysitters. Some people don't want to pay for babysitters because if you have little kids, put your kids to bed.
Right.
Then invite your friends over.
Yes.
Or your kids can just be there, honestly. But
Yes.
I'm just saying that's another option because sometimes
you
that
almost have
happens.
to look at it like, I think we talked about this with date night too, like how there are times like we didn't have any money, but we created times of date night.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a lot of money or a big house or whatever to create these environments. I also think people think they have to have the perfect circumstances.
Yes.
And that is just not true either.
Well, you're just not going to.
Right. You'll never have the perfect
You'll never have
circumstances. That's true.
perfect.
That's
I mean, people, I think, come over to my house and feel like they can't host because we do live in when we bought this home, the first thing Mom said was, when she saw it, was, you're going to love it because it's a perfect home for hosting. Mm-hmm. And so it is a great house for hosting. However, that doesn't mean it's easy for us all the time.
Yeah.
We are running our kids. By the way, on Sunday nights, we have a small group at our house. Ashley and Jeremy do too. And us and Ashley and Jeremy have to run our kids to youth group.
Yes.
And one of us leaves early to go pick them up.
Yeah.
That has happened before, a whole year before.
Yes.
One time we did that on Sunday nights. One of us left and the other one hosted the group.
Yeah.
My point is, it doesn't really matter if you live in the perfect house and you have the most amount of money.
Yeah.
It's still not going to be perfect.
Yes.
And you just have to figure out how to work it out.
And I was even thinking with that, like, could Lindsey and I provide for our entire small group a meal every time we had small group? We could, but we don't. We say, this is going to be potluck, so we bring the main dish and then they bring everything else.
Yeah.
And it is so fun. It's so fun. And people want to bring stuff.
They do. They actually find joy in that.
Yes.
Even the people
I always want to bring stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
even the people who don't cook. We don't care if you cook.
Yeah.
They'll go buy something and bring it. And they still find joy in contributing.
Yes. How have you learned to host in imperfect circumstances? Because we've definitely had those. We've had some like pretty close to perfect hosting situations because we've done it for so many years. Yeah. But we've also had some imperfect, you know?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean?
Like I think anything that like an obstacle that people would feel, you know. For instance, like kids.
Yes.
Like having kids over but you don't have kids. Or you don't have little kids anymore.
Yeah. So what I would say is, okay, first of all, if you're hosting, there does have to be a level of flexibility.
Yes,
okay.
I wanted to hit on this.
Am I skipping?
No, you're great.
Okay. Because like, we cannot be so particular with everything that like, no one wants to come over again because they feel like they have to be perfect and they can't touch anything. And every time someone leaves the table, you go scoot their chair in and you're sweeping before anyone leaves. Like that.
Like people are gonna feed off of.
They're gonna feed off of.
So almost that's your starting point.
Yeah. So
your mindset.
You know, I have to look at things like this. Like our cabinets get scratched all the time. Like things happen, and I just have to tell myself, there's a time when we're gonna fix all that. Like Derek is like, listen, when all the kids leave the house, we probably will get this whole kitchen like repainted. But I have to decide, do I want to keep my kitchen perfect but never open my home to anyone? Or do I want to open my home and just not keep it perfect? With saying that, there are still boundaries. That does not mean that you just have to open up everything and just say no rules, anybody do whatever they want. You can still have rules. For instance, for a long time, when people would come over with little kids, this was years ago when our kids were little and we had a lot of toys, there are certain toys we put away because they caused problems. Yes. And Nerf guns would be one of them.
Yes.
Nerf guns.
There's a time and place for certain.
There is, and that's okay.
Like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
And Nerf guns.
And also
things like that.
Don't go psycho and put every toy up. Right. But there's got to be some that's okay to put some. Also,
shutting doors.
Locking doors. That you say, you can't go up there. I've had seasons where kids can go upstairs. I've had seasons where I put a baby gate up. And said, hey, there's nothing for the kids to do upstairs because we don't have a playroom up there. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. As long as you're keeping, I have another room down here we call the TV room. That's open for kids. Or they can go outside and play ping pong. Like,
has anyone ever pushed back on that?
I've had kids push back. I've not had adults. Kids will push back, but the adults don't really. And, I've had some adults send their kids to me to be like, they really want a Nerf gun. And I just say, no, I'm sorry. We're not playing with those today.
Yeah.
And you know what? They still came back.
Yeah.
So obviously they just stuck with the rules. And, you know, again, it's not like we didn't have anything for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think there's got to be flexibility. You can't freak out if kids are touching your walls.
Yes.
Now, if a kid has chocolate all over their hands and they're in your living room, or they are putting their hands on the wall and a parent is not stepping in, it's okay to step in and be like, oh my goodness, can I wipe your hands? But my point is there has to be some give and take, right?
Yes.
Like some flexibility there.
I think too, like it kind of goes back to the heart of hospitality, like why are you doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's really not about the performance of, look at my house, look at this meal, doesn't my house smell good, look at my beautiful flowers. It's really about presence, right? It's about connecting with people. And ultimately, I remember thinking, like, you know, Jeremy and I are going to be a full-time ministry, and we worked for 20 years, and we were going to have people in our home. Like, I just knew it. We were church planning. That's how we built our church. Literally.
It is, yeah.
And I had to just be like, oh, well, like, my stuff's going to get used, and it's not my stuff anyway. I feel like they're all gifts from the Lord. Like, I just was like, I'd rather have people in my home than not, and like care about everything. I also have 5 kids, so I was like, I'm sorry. I would tell people when they came, like, you can't hurt anything here. Because some people get like, you know, they're on their kids and they're really like, don't touch that, don't do this. I'm like, relax. Because I want people to come in, like, what do you want people to feel like when they come into your house?
I want them to feel like at home, like they're invited in. They can walk into my kitchen and know where the silverware is and grab it. Or teenagers know where they can get drinks, you know? Like, I mean, and again, here's the deal. My boys have their friends over all the time.
Right.
I'm not feeding those kids every time they come over. I hardly ever feed them, as a matter of fact. No one ever asks me if they can have snacks, but I don't tell them they can't.
When she says all the time.
Almost every weekend. Yeah. So, like, not as much since Parker graduated, but the point is like, and this isn't like 2 people. This is like groups of 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Forgot to do that. And so for me, it's like, it's more than just, like, in those situations, it's okay that I'm not feeding them. I don't have to be this all-American mom that brings out the fresh baked cookies every time.
The thing is that I think, like, if we are always striving for perfection or like that, we're going to burn out, and then we're not going to want anyone.
That is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I don't know if people still do this because I'm not as young anymore, when Pinterest and DIY started.
Yeah.
Girl, I was trying to DIY some birthday parties and DIY some. I will not forget making a homemade meal from like scratch, the whole thing.
Yes.
Dessert, the meal, the main dish, the sides, the bread. And I was like, I'm exhausted. Yes. And I remember saying, if I'm going to do this, I have to draw some boundaries. Like, I can't, and no one asked me to do that. That was me.
You're just putting on yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember being like, nope, for my personality, that's not me. Meanwhile, you have my mom who's making little salads and mason jars for everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. But also with that came some stress for her.
Yeah.
She would get stressed out sometimes.
I think she more enjoyed it than being stressed, but it's kind of like, what is it worth to you? You know what I mean? Like,
and I still get stressed sometimes, like having a bunch of people over. But my point is like, it's okay to like kind of know your personality and be like, okay, I'm drawing a line in the sand. But what you can't do is you cannot be a stress case when people come over.
Yeah.
But then they're not going to come over. Yeah, they're going to pick up on it. They're not going to want to come back.
So what are some practical ways to make people feel welcome without striving for perfection?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like okay, I'll tell you one thing. Well, this isn't really actually pertain to just a one-time hosting event.
It's okay.
But this is more for like small groups and stuff. One thing I try really hard to do is to make it very like, hey, if you've committed, if you miss a Sunday, it's no big deal. We don't care. So I feel like that immediately the guard is down. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't just sign my life away. And then when they come and you still treat them the exact same and they feel super welcome, whether they missed the Sunday before or not, I feel like they feel so much more welcome and released to come back if they missed.
Yeah. Or if someone's like, hey, I don't really cook. Can I just bring napkins or drinks? Absolutely.
Yes.
can't wait. Amazing. We need those things. You know, like I think it's being life-giving. We use that term a lot, but it's being life-giving in those relationships, you know, and like making people feel welcome.
There's just a lot of like releasing. Like to me, it's like, let me release your pressure.
Yeah.
If you don't cook, don't worry about it. Bring something different. We'll fill in anywhere that needs to be filled in.
Yes.
And I think like, again, like, if you're looking at the long-term goal of hosting and why you're having people in your house, you're going to make them feel more welcome because your house is just full of peace.
Yeah.
You know, like you greet people when they walk in the door. You're excited they're here. You're like, I'm so glad you came.
Yeah.
You know, like there's people who might not be able to come, but like if someone comes, like make them feel like you're happy they're there.
Yes.
You know, I'm a big appetizer fan.
Right. So that's a good question too. Like, what are some practical ways?
Yeah.
Again, this can be, you can spend a lot of money or not, that make your home feel warm when people come in.
Yeah.
Appetizers. Because obviously, we'll talk about this in a minute, but you know, even in the Bible, Acts 2 talks about breaking bread with people, right, in your homes. And that is like so much connection and ministry and life happens around food. And it just brings people together.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that...
And appetizer could be chips and salsa.
For sure.
Yes.
It can be anything you want to make
yes.
it. It can be bread and butter.
Yeah.
Seriously. Get a little oil and vinegar out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so like there's a few groups here that change the dynamic, right? So like, are you hosting like just having a family over for dinner?
Right.
And it's friends of yours? Is it versus a family you've never hung out
Right.
with? Or is this like a group of people?
Yes.
Or is this a small group? That kind of, it doesn't really change what you do, but a tiny bit it does.
Yeah.
So like if you're having a family over, I mean, usually Derek and I just take care of whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like financially, just because we're like, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
We want to have you over for a meal.
Yeah.
Come over. You don't have to bring anything.
Yes.
But there's nothing wrong with if you're friends with this family being like, hey, we want y'all to come over. Do you care to bring?
We've done both.
Yeah, we've done both.
Just
Either way, it
depends
just depends on your season. It depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a huge thing is to have something to eat when they get in the door. I know it sounds crazy, but they automatically come to around a table.
Right.
Usually, if you're cooking in the kitchen, doing anything, getting anything ready, if people can gather around the table where you are, it makes people feel.
Yeah. I think offering a drink
offering
away
a drink. Yeah.
is just very southern and hospitable.
Yeah.
Can I get you something to drink?
Yeah.
What do you want? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you feel about paper versus like real plates and plates and silver?
Yeah, I mean, we do paper. We don't care about that.
Right.
I don't care about that.
either.
And some people do.
Yeah.
Robin, I think, does real, it's not glass, but it's like real plates and silverware and all that.
But that's not going to be something that you trip up over.
No.
Yeah.
Also, just a little side note for anyone who really truly wants to host a lot. I keep in a closet, I always have a huge stack of paper plates. I always have napkins. And I have this like tower thing that Wade and Kimberly got us that is like the best thing ever.
For your utensils.
And it's for your utensils. And I always have utensils in it.
I just used mine like 2 nights ago. When
Yeah,
we had young adults over.
And I have a cup thing that has cups in it. And so anybody can come over and I can just go grab it all out. And like, I mean,
and you have the cups with the Sharpies. So people write their name.
Yes, I have this little thing that you can put cups in that has a holder for Sharpies. And then that way it's just always, and I will say sometimes we go back and forth with cups versus cans.
Us too.
So it just
depends on how many people.
Yeah, what that looks like.
Yeah.
But that, I also think the atmosphere matters, not the size.
Not at all the size.
Not the size.
The food, like when someone comes in, so it could be as easy as like chips and salsa. Hey, can I get you something to drink? You're standing around talking. I think a candle always helps, right? You're lighting, so like maybe you have some lamps on. You don't have to have every lamp on, every light on in the house, but maybe not too dark. But we know how it feels when you walk in a space and it's like a warm space, right? And that's easy to create by turning some lights off and some lights on.
Okay, so the lighting is the thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I've been at multiple places that there are no lights on.
Yes.
That bothers me because it feels weird. And I'm like, and I'm not talking about dark outside. There's sunlight. But if you have no light, no lamps
I think it just doesn't feel welcoming.
It doesn't feel welcoming. That's what I'm saying.
It's like we're going to bed.
It is exactly like you don't really want us here because you didn't even turn a lamp on, which I know that people don't feel that way.
Yeah.
That's just what it feels like. And maybe that's because of how we were brought up. There might be other people that don't even notice that.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be some lamps or overhead lighting.
What about temperature of the room?
I mean, I keep my house cold, but I always am like, do you want a blanket?
Yes, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So keep your house cold, but you have a basket of blankets.
Yeah. And you notice people when they look cold. So
yes.
you do have to be like, oh my gosh.
When you have more people in your home, it gets warmer.
And then you got to turn it down.
Yes, you have to
just
turn
pay
it down.
attention to stuff like that.
Those are small things, but they really do make a difference.
What about animals?
I am a big fan of putting your animals away.
Yes.
Not everyone, I know, shocker to some of you, are not animal people. I might be one of them.
Okay, so here's the deal with the animals.
We're talking about creating hospitable environments, right?
We are.
For people.
We are.
So you're talking about people coming in your home that you're getting to know. Again, if this is like your best friends and they know you have a dog and your dog's out, they don't care. But if you're hosting, what is your thought? Because you have a dog, so maybe Lindsey should actually speak into this more.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I grew up in a family that was not an animal family. So, like, our family was an animal family. And then we all got married, and then none of us were animal families in that, okay? Yeah. We are the only ones out of our whole family that have a dog or an animal, period. And so, because I grew up in a family like that, I have learned to be very aware of people that might not be animal people. And here's the issue. Sometimes animal people think everyone should be animal people.
Yeah.
And that's actually not fair.
Yeah.
And it's actually not being considerate of people who might not feel the same way you do.
Yeah.
And I think just like I have to consider the fact that you might love your animals, you need to consider the fact that A, I'm allergic to almost all animals.
Yeah.
So there's that. And B, I just don't want, if I'm not around animals, me nor my kids want an animal all up on me.
Yeah.
And so even if that's what you live every day, well, guess what? I live every day with laundry up to my eyeballs, but I wouldn't have laundry up to my eyeballs in front of all of you as you walk into my house. I would put that laundry in a room with the door shut.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And so my thing is like, it's not fake putting your stuff away. Because, and you're not lying about it. You're like, yeah, I have a dog, but my dog's put up. Wow, you're like a bug in my face. But I'm like, but my point is like, we do have to be considerate of other people. I don't think we have to like strip a whole house down if someone doesn't like things. But I think animals is like such a tricky thing.
Yeah. It's just creating an environment
of
welcome.
It is. And it's because of kids.
Some kids are scared of animals.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so anyways, my whole point is we put our dog up. Now, again, like you said, if it is our really good friends that come over, we do not put him up. But if it is our small group, he is always put up. Recently, we had a dinner here for creative team from our church. We put our dog up. Did we have someone ask us? Because they saw him.
Yes.
In another room. They said, oh, you have a dog. Will you get him out? I said, no, we just don't like to get him out when other people. He is the nicest, chillest dog ever. He is not going to be bad. Yeah. But the point is I need to be respectful of people. And also food is everywhere. So like you don't want your animal getting in food. So anyways, I know people love their animals, but I do think that is something that maybe people need to be self-aware of.
Yeah. I thought about a couple other things. So I always think like fresh flowers are great, but you don't have to. But it also creates an environment of welcome. That's just in general with anything. And flowers can be cheap. Trader Joe's, whatever. Yeah. Even if you got fake ones, they make fake ones now that look so real. Yeah. I think that's a great thing too that makes it feel very kind of homey. And then I wanted to say this too because I thought about this the other night because we hosted a young adult dinner gathering. And we don't have a very big house at all right now. And it was great. It was awesome. I don't really think about that much just because I've hosted in smaller spaces. But the bathroom that people use is Ella's bathroom. So it's kind of like just how the house is. Anyway, so for that, I asked Ella to put all of her things away in the closet. I put a hand towel in there that's different, soap, and then a candle. And I just think that's kind of also, if you have a bathroom that other people, like your kids or y'all use or whatever, like, don't let that hold you back from hosting, one. Yeah. And two, like that really was like nothing to do, but it's the bathroom that everybody uses. You know what I mean?
That is another thing. I will say this, just saying what you just said. Yeah. To piggyback on this. We have a small group here every single week. Is my whole entire house clean from top to bottom? No.
Oh, yeah.
But what will be cleaned is I clean the bathroom that every single person uses. I clean it every single time, every week before someone comes. I clean the toilet, I clean the sink, I empty the trash, I clean the mirror. I clean the kitchen. Anywhere that people are going to be is clean. And it's funny because we come from the South, and in the South, people will go in someone's house and be like, they want to tour the house.
Yes.
And so when we first moved here, I would have every room clean.
I always expected people to be like, can I take a tour of your house? And I'm like, yeah, of course.
And nobody in Austin does that. And so now, not every room is totally clean because I'm not going up to my kids' room because then I get mad about it. And so I'm like, and we actually had a couple in our small group ask like, what rooms can I go into? And I was like, none. Because I haven't even checked them. And I was like, you're like the first person in years that has ever asked to see our whole entire house. Because no one here in Austin does that. But in the South, people do that. And I love it. I actually love it. But at least... when Mom would host things, we had to have everything was perfect. It was like, I know like you were going perfect, but you know,
but it
was clean.
Yeah, but we don't do that, so I'm just saying.
No,
for her,
it was. Yeah,
that's what.
So it is like a really funny thing. But anyways, the point is just try to have things like actually like clean. Yeah. Like again, I try to check those areas when our friends come over. Mm-hmm. Not as big of a deal to me. Yeah. Everything's picked up, but it's not as big of a deal for me to have the toilet scrubbed down if I just cleaned it like, whatever.
I think things like background music is great.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on who's coming over and what it's for. Sometimes having like sports on, but not the sound, but just having it on the TV.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about things that aren't expensive, that don't take a lot of effort, that make it feel like a welcoming environment.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. I really do think like, okay, let's say you're having people over, but you don't need to be like providing dinner. And let's say it's just like coffee. Yeah. And you really don't even want to do dessert. You could have like little bowls of like M&Ms.
Yes.
Or like I have, those of you who are watching. This is Werther's Originals.
Yes, Lindsey is 85 years old.
I'm 85, that's okay. But this is actually the apple ones, caramel apple. I do not have this bowl sitting out all the time, just every once in a while. And as soon as Ashley came in, she was like, ooh, I'm getting one of these. Yeah. So like just that in itself makes people feel like at this time of year, we have candy corn and peanuts out in like a glass pumpkin jar. Yeah. We're not big Halloween people, but this is just like more fall. And people love it. Yeah. They munch on it. That's not expensive. Yeah. Like at all. Like, but if you can't, I totally get it. Don't let that prevent you from hosting if you can't do that because people do not care.
Yes.
They will come over just to hang out.
Yeah. So that kind of goes on to, we'll get a little deeper with hospitality, but how has just opening up your home shaped your friendships, your family, or even your faith?
Yeah. So, I think that I think opening up my home has created so many memories for my kids.
I know, I thought about that too.
You know, we talk all the time about when Jeremy was a pastor. Yeah. And we talk about the days of like when we were in your house all the time. And like, we're still friends with people who were your neighbors and friends that time. And they all knew they could go to Ashley and Jeremy's house for anything at all. And we had so many memories there. And like that to me is creating so many memories. Like, so if we're talking about those memories, what are our kids talking about? Yeah. They're talking about memories of, you know, being here, swimming, or at Papa and Mom and Don's house, or whatever it is where we've gathered together. Yeah. It was really cool. This life group that we always talk about that we hosted a few years ago. We hosted for a year. I have a good friend of mine who wasn't in that life group. She didn't go to our church. And she told me, but she lives close to some of the people that were in life group. She told me their boys came over. And they were like, oh, we have life group tonight. Do y'all want to come with us? They don't care. The Mills don't care if you come with us. And it was just the sweetest thing. And I loved that those boys, knew I wouldn't care. Yeah, felt comfortable. And that, too, they loved it so much. Like, they talked about it and looked forward to it. And I ran into some of them last Sunday or a couple Sundays ago before our current life group, and I was like at the grocery store, and I was like, oh my gosh, hey, I might have told this story on here or not, and they were just like we were talking about that year, and just how special it was. And I just think that like you're creating not only moments for your own family, which we're not doing it just for our own family, so remember that. You're creating those moments for other people.
Yeah.
And if you're a Christ follower and you're asking for the peace of God to reign in your home, to close it down and never let other people experience that, that's a hard thing for me.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's a hard thing for me to wrap my brain around.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think all the way back, like, so my husband Jeremy is just actually, he's a little bit of an introvert. He's the only child. And creating a hospitable home was different for him. He was not used to that.
Yeah.
And I am on the other side of that, where even early on being married, we've had so many people live with us over the years.
Yes,
first
y'all
of all, and I love it, every minute of it.
Me being one of them.
Yes, I love it. Also, just opening our home, like being very open-handed about people coming, about whatever it is. And I think about what you said. We have relationships with people that literally have been in our home because they came, your friends, for instance, in college.
Crazy.
You know, like we always joke that when we lived in West Palm, it was like a bed and breakfast because we had so many people come and stay with us. And I just love that. Like, I truly believe it's like biblical community because God works through relationships. And having people in your home, there's nothing like sitting on a couch. We just had our best friend that we've been best friends with since we were like 18 years old. And him and Jeremy are super close, but we've been friends forever. And I loved having him there. And we just sat on our couch and we talked till like, you know, late at night every night and talking about all kinds of different things. And like those relationships, when you have people in your home, it just goes so deep. Yeah. And then I love that it showed our kids that we really do value people and relationships. Yeah. And I think sometimes if you say you value people and relationships, but you're not open to having people in your home, and I'm not saying 24/7, I'm not saying in bed and breakfast. Lindsey and I are probably extreme in some of those things. But to not never open your home and have your kids see you really just be this welcoming place to build community. You know, I think it's doing them a disservice, honestly.
It is.
Well, that might be a strong
And the
statement.
thing is they're going to people's homes that are opening to them.
Yeah.
And so it's not like they don't notice the difference, you know? And I do agree. I do think that Ashley and I probably, and our brother, I think, and my parents, like, host maybe more than the average Joe. I also understand that there's some people who aren't comfortable hosting, very introverted. I get that. And I think that's hard. But I also think that sometimes the Lord is like, it doesn't mean we just stay where we're at.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sometimes we have to push outside of ourselves and say, oh, well, that we're that way.
Yeah.
Because here's where my mind goes. I don't own any of this.
I think the same thing.
Like, anything that we have is not ours.
Yeah.
It is the Lord's.
Yeah.
And for me to close it down and only I get to use it, it's very selfish of me.
Yeah.
It's very, I'm not saying y'all are selfish. I'm saying this is just what my brain thinks. Like, it's very selfish of me to say, oh, gimme. And then to never, like, ever let anyone else enjoy it. Like, that just doesn't feel right. It doesn't settle well with me. And I do understand that, like, I have a husband who loves to host and he does help a lot. But like you said, like, Jeremy is more introverted and you have still made it work.
I literally think that, and he now, I mean, gosh, we've been married 26 years. He got used to it. I mean, we just did it. And he also, I think it was rooted in that, like, there's biblical hospitality. And I think, like, whatever your personality is, whatever your bend is, whatever you have, God kind of calls us to this biblical hospitality and being in community with people. That I think that was the driver for him. And he also saw the benefits of it for sure. And still does. And so he's very different now. He's not a Derek by any means with hospitality, but he's so open to people being at our house, living with us, coming for dinner. Sometimes now, I think he actually pushes it more than I think about it.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But how do you think that, like, or in what ways do you think hospitality reflects the heart of God? We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's, like, so many different levels to it. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that honestly, it probably contains every fruit of the Spirit.
Right.
We've been talking about the fruit of the Spirit in our church.
Very fresh on the mind.
Yeah, and so, like, it truly does, because, like, every one of those you have to embody if you're going to be having people in your home. Yeah. You really do need to, like, be showing those as examples, right? And I think that I think the Lord, I think Jesus was so big about being in people's homes.
Yeah.
And having people.
Oh, well, so much of his ministry was around food.
It was around food. Yeah. And a lot of his, if you talk, there's a lot of houses involved in that. I mean, they didn't have back then Starbucks where you could go meet somebody for coffee.
Yes.
So why though? So just because we have a Starbucks where you go meet somebody for coffee does not need to eliminate the fact that we need to have people in our homes.
Well, and also I think when you have people in your homes, it slows down time.
Yeah.
We're so busy going from one thing to another, but when you have people in your home or when you go to someone's home, it slows it down. You have that very intentional, time with them.
It's a little vulnerable too.
Oh, it is.
I think it shows somebody hey,
true too.
I am willing to bring you into my place, into my safe space, and have you here and provide a meal or whatever that looks like, just time together. And so I think that it really means something to people.
Yeah.
It means something to Derek and I. I mean, we've always had 5 kids, so I think that us getting invited over was not going to be much of
We
an
joke
option.
about this all the time. We don't get invited very much because we have so many kids. I get it. I'm not throwing
and
stones.
I also think that because Derek and I have always wanted a host, it's just we've just kind of been, and also there are pursuers.
This is the same line of thought I was thinking too.
And that has been an interesting thing for me to really just grasp that Derek and I are pursuers.
Yeah.
We are the kind of people that we will ask people to lunch. We will ask people to come over to our house. We will pursue people in a relationship with them, but we don't necessarily get that back.
Yeah.
So this is something that you have to be real careful with, because if you're waiting to get it back, you're never going to do anything.
Yes, that's exactly right. If you just decide you're going to be the initiator, and I don't have people over so that they invite me over.
That's right. It's not a tit for tat.
I don't invite people to dinner so that they invite me to dinner. No. That is holding on way too tight to something, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I think you have to be very open-handed with it. Again, it goes back to giving, and you're I'm going to do this because this is what I feel like I'm supposed to do and what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't have any expectations in return.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about this. I love what having people in your home does with other people in your relationship with them. I was thinking about a couple that goes to our church that I love, and I don't know if she listens to our podcast. I don't think she does, but she says she is more introverted, and so Derek and I pretty much cornered them separately, and we're hey, we really want you to come to our small group.
Yeah,
we really want you to be in our small group.
Yeah.
And so they did, and they have been amazing, and they stay they don't leave, even though she's introverted, they don't leave early.
Yeah.
Then we had them for this creative night, and they came for that, and they were okay, well, we're at your house all the time, we pretty much just need to move in. But it has created this gosh, it has been so cool to
I think it's so cool too, because they're younger, right? If we're talking about the same people.
Not the same
okay. But you also,
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
are creating, you're showing the next generation,
Yeah.
so not just your kids, but any younger generation, how you can do it, how
Yeah.
you can host, how you can have
That's
people
true.
over.
Yeah. Those people, she was asking me the other day, do you guys hang out with people a lot?
Yeah.
What do y'all do? And just kind of, because they are younger, but it's been so cool. They are an example who you're talking about. This couple, I would never know what I know about them had we not had them in our home.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, and I think too, we live in a world that it is so easy to be isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So easy to be isolated because of devices.
Yeah.
You think that you have community through social media or your phone, and actually, I think we're missing the mark, because true community is with people, in front of people.
Yeah.
We have to know how to talk with people, and I think people are made for community because that's how God made us, and we're created for it. And we need to be really careful about not falling into isolation because we think we have a pseudo community through something else.
Or, that's right, or we just make up a ton of excuses.
Yeah.
Our kids have sports.
Yeah.
Or my kids we need to do things with my kids here. Or I'm just at work all day and I just am tapped out socially. And there's always an excuse to not have community.
Yeah.
But why do you think that's the enemy?
Right.
He wants you
to be
in
isolated.
isolation.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't want you to have community.
I can't imagine going through some things in life without like community.
Well,
and a lot of my community is people that have been in my home, I've been in their home, and
all those
there's
people,
a comfortability there.
all those people came to mom's celebration of life.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
mom and dad have had community with them in some way, have had them in their home.
Yeah.
And so it's funny you say that. I don't know if I've ever told this on the podcast, but there's a girl I know, and she told me that her dad passed away suddenly, and they were not in church community. I don't think they are now even, but she told me that it was so sad because they didn't have anyone to tell. No one reached out to her. No one brought meals for her. Like, she went through a really hard time. And I'm like, but it didn't even drive her into wanting a church community more, even though she did grow up in that because her dad was a pastor. But it was like, that broke my heart for her. Like, that is when, and this was before mom died. So this was like before I even knew even more. And I just feel like that is why we need community.
It is. And I think maybe if you didn't grow up in a house that was hospitable, or you just don't know how, like, I think you're a great way to start. You might be like, I'm not ready. But really, I think everybody's ready, honestly.
For sure.
And I think what you can do is send that text or make that phone call and make the invite. Because when you make the invite, then they're coming.
You can't back out.
So it's like that simple step. And here's what we always say. The more you host, the easier it gets.
It is. That's true. You learn so much stuff.
Yes.
You learn how to make it easier for yourself. There's so many things. You learn how you and your husband work together. We get our kids to help. Clean up. We'll be like, all right, kids, we're having a life group tonight or whatever, small group. I'm sorry, we've called it so many different things. And we're like, empty the trash. And they're like, why do we have to do this? We're like, because this isn't all about us. You know, so a lot of these things are your friends too. And we're not going to be the only ones who are getting this house ready for stuff. And now our kids are used to it and they kind of hop to it. But I have a couple of points really quick that I just want to make about it. One, don't be flaky.
Oh yeah, don't cancel.
Don't cancel on people. Do not unless it's like legit sickness or something. Don't be flaky. Don't change it because something better has come up.
That's good.
People can read you. They know exactly what's going on. Don't do it. You commit, you do it. Okay? Number one. Number two, to make people feel welcome, ask questions about them.
100%.
Do not talk about yourself the whole time. Don't. You know, you probably shouldn't talk. Really probably shouldn't talk about yourself at all unless the questions come to you. It's so easy to start getting nervous and start being like, and you're just talking about yourself. Ask questions. Ask questions like, how was your day? So what do you do for work? Especially if it's someone you don't know, like, or small groups.
You're
like,
getting to know.
You're getting to know them. Like, so what does your wife do? Or how old are your kids? And like, do they like school? Like, we could write out lists of questions to ask. Okay.
You can Google it. You can chat GPT it to help you.
So don't be flaky. And the way you make them feel comfortable is you ask them a ton of questions. Because the third one. This is my last one.
You had 3.
Don't be flaky. Ask questions. This is my third one, right? Did I do a third one already? I thought I only 2.
Okay.
Third one is you win some, you lose some.
Oh.
And do not let that make you not want to host again. Don't. Because I'm telling you, I've hosted the weirdest people in small groups. Okay.
I was going to tell some of those stories. And I didn't want to scare people off.
You would scare people off.
But just know that, like, lots of hosting. This is not common, but there have been
some weird people. And especially in small group environments. Like church small groups, whatever you want to call it. Okay? You win some and lose some when you invite a family over. If you don't have a lot of, like, community right now and you're, like, somewhere new, that is part of it. Just invite them
journey.
over. But then there might be a family that you would think, well, this is going to be awkward. And it ends up being amazing.
And they might be like your best friends.
That's right. Like, you just never know. Also, just to let you know, usually personalities attract each other that are opposite. We had some friends one time, for sure, I thought it ain't going to work out because they were like, I'm super extroverted, they were introverted. It ended up being our closest friends for like a couple years, a few years before we moved. So I'm just saying, you win some, you lose some. So those are my 3 pieces of advice. Don't be flaky, ask a lot of questions, and you win some, you lose some.
That's perfect. Because truly, I think the bottom line is that God uses the table, which there's a table everywhere, no matter what home it's in, how big the house is, but God uses the table and our homes as a place to build his kingdom.
Absolutely.
And just as we've had some stories of just like, can be weird, or maybe somebody only comes over once and they never come over again, whatever. The stories of impact, the stories, spiritual conversations that have happened, the stories of walking through seasons with people because you had them in your home, like way outweigh. And honestly, it's just more fun. life is more fun.
Gosh, it is, because guess what? Even the weird people, we get to talk about it now. Okay. So what would our life be like?
Yes.
How boring would we be? Because if we invited no one over ever, we wouldn't have the awesome people or the weird people to talk about.
Yeah.
But also, the other thing is this, some of these people that you might not think like much about, they might have been super impacted by you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think that happens.
By your marriage, by your kids, by your family, or you might be one of the only people who've ever invited them over.
Right.
And they'd be like, do you remember when, so-and-so, I will never forget, sorry, we can end. I will never forget when Aaron and Ben Archer invited our whole entire family over, and he is from Louisiana, and they made jambalaya for us. And I won't forget that. You know why? Because no one here has ever invited all 21 of us over, which is totally fine. Yeah. I don't expect people to do that. But that was an impact on us.
Special,
it was so special.
And they're so hospitable.
They are very hospitable. But, okay, that was one time. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
When we were in Florida, my mom's best tennis friend, this last year, summer, my mom's best tennis friend we've grown up with forever, they now live there. They invited our whole entire family over and had a seated dinner in their house for all of us.
It was so nice.
It was amazing. And my kids won't forget that.
Yeah.
They will be like, what was their names again? They had us over. What was their names again? They had us over at the beach. And, they can't remember names, but very well. But they know who they are.
Yeah. And I think for me too, like before we lived here, we moved quite a bit. And I wasn't by family for 9 years. I think some people think now like, oh, you're around your family all the time, which we are. But for 9 years when I had little kids, it was just Jeremy and I and our kids. And I remember in each of those situations, the people that would have me over. Mm-hmm. And we had people over too during those times. But it meant so much because honestly, I felt lonely. Yeah. I mean, there definitely was a season where Jeremy was in seminary and working and all this stuff, and I had these little kids, and I just needed some like interaction. And the people that went out of their way to invite me into their circles, into their homes, like it made a huge impact on me.
For sure. And we live in a place too. And this made me think of it. What you said is like where there's a lot of people who don't live by their family here. Mm-hmm. And how many times has our really good friends Robin and Steve had people over for Christmas?
Yes. Yeah.
Christmas and every holiday, Robin and Steve will have people over because they don't live by their family and their family lives out of the country. Yeah. They will literally have people over Christmas Day. Oh, yeah. People, don't forget Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Remember that? They'll be saying, remember that one time we went to Levy's house for Christmas Day? That was so fun.
And I will say this too, and I meant to say this when we got it.
Yeah, we got
question of the week.
Yeah.
But I have gone to other countries a few times, handful of times. I'm not like a world traveler or anything. But we could really learn from other countries on how hospitable they are. Way more hospitable than Americans. Yeah. It actually puts us to shame how they are so welcoming and so loving and so accepting.
And giving.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even have much, some of them. But they're super giving with what they have.
It's very impressive, honestly.
It is. Yeah.
So that's pretty anyway, cool. I think you have a question.
I have a question of the week. Yes. So, if you are going to put out...
Oh, she's ready.
I'm ready because I just thought of it. Ashley always prepares her question of the week, and I sometimes wing it. Maybe
Shocking.
Most of the time. Shocking. Maybe most of the time. So my mom always had little, like we talked about, like she would always have like a bowl of some sort of treat out, like candy. I'm not a huge candy fan.
Peanut M&Ms.
So a lot. Peanut M&Ms. She had peanut M&Ms a lot. I'm not a huge candy fan, so that is not something that like resonates with me. My kids love it when I do that. So if you're going to have a bowl, or do you do that in your kitchen? And if you are, what is it?
Yeah. So right now we have candy corn out. Mm-hmm. And I know
is
candy
it peanuts and candy corn?
This one doesn't have peanuts in it because I had it for young adults. I just wasn't sure if they want the whole peanuts and candy corn thing. But we do a lot of times have peanuts and candy corn. I usually do seasonally. So I also have Cadbury mini eggs around Easter, spring, things like that. And honestly, that was a lot picked up from what my mom did. She always had something like that. But here's the problem with me. I love sweets. So that stuff's hard for me not to want. So it's better for me if I put out something that I know I'm not going to be tempted to eat.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know.
Biscuits.
I'm like, grapes.
Yeah. You're like, what's the
whatever. I'm not gonna like pick out, but yeah. So yes, the season. I'm more like a seasonal put things.
I am too. I don't always have stuff out. I have the peanuts and candy worm, which I will say I felt like I was winning in life. I don't remember when this was, but I came home and one of my kids had filled up my peanuts and candy worm.
Oh yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we turn to leave because I only have my boys are older and they ain't doing that.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing that.
But the girls are like,
the girls are doing that, and the girls have started doing things that they see me do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a total life change. You know. So,
I mean, there's a lot of things that are called, not taught.
That is true, and it takes a lot of years.
Yes, it does.
So they're already learning to host, guys.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
So, anyways, all right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
hopefully, it really it was easy, light, but hopefully, it encourages you to host.
Yeah. Yes.
You can do it. We believe in you.
We're waiting for our invite.
Yeah, we're waiting for her. That's good. Also, if you have any questions, you can message us.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyways, all right. Bye guys.